So here's Prometheus, the new free character in version 6.6. She's a very important character in the story, but I'll avoid spoilers here for anyone who hasn't completed the last arc yet. Prometheus is a physical support, specializing in shield breaking and buffing your physical teams. Basically, she's intended to replace Carole in shield breaking content, as well as Griseo in certain situations. So for example, you play Prometheus, Herschel Sentience, and they both support whatever physical DPS you're playing. She's an SP Valkyrie, so she is free and you can farm her fragments all the way to triple S. If you're new, 50 fragments can be bought weekly in the Astrite shop, and you can get a few at a time from overworld missions. Certain amounts will also be available as rewards from events this patch. However, her gear isn't free. Still, there is an amazing deal for her gear this patch, so I highly recommend pulling this. I'll go into this more later. So how do you play her? Her gameplay is very simple. This is a simple setup. You start with Herschel Sentience, use a combo attack to trigger Prometheus' QTE. Then all you do for Prometheus' gameplay is you press her ult, then you press her weapon skill. You can see it signals you. You can use your elf if you have it. Then you just switch back to Herschel Sentience to use her ult, and then you switch to your main TPS and you do their combo. It's very simple gameplay. I recorded some damage comparisons comparing her with Carole and Griseo. These are not necessarily the most perfect rotations, but these are the results I got. As you can see, although Prometheus is a shield break support, something of which you can't see the value of in this training dummy gameplay, she still brings a lot of team buffs which end up helping the team a lot. In my gameplay, she ends up giving more damage per rotation than the older supports. However, note that Griseo still provides bleeding, which is crucial in a lot of bleed content, and I think should also be still critical for bleed DPSs like Susanna. So how did Prometheus bring this damage? There's quite a lot of buffs in her kit. You can see, similar to Carole, there's quite a lot of shield breaking buffs. And similar to Griseo, she gives SP to the team. I also think this freeze shield recovery time thing is interesting. It's similar to some effects that you would find in the Abyss. Here's her gear. She's a fist user just like Bronya, and her stigmata art is Dr. May. So for a lot of people this is a must pull. Her weapon has quite a lot of team buffs, and same for her stigmatas. The BP seems pretty essential, and you also get a lot of buffs and more shield break with the set bonuses. However, this isn't that big of a deal because I think a lot of people can get her gear. Similar to characters in the past like Raven or Hersha of Origins banners, Prometheus' gear banner gives refunds for every 10 pulls spent. If you're an older player, you'll know how much of a good deal this is. Since she's an SP character, her gear has guarantees you will get a new piece every 30 pulls, but with average luck, you can generally breeze through each piece faster than that. That's not all, because the first 10 pull on her gear is apparently free, as well as this patch there being 10 free focus cards given out. So that's 20 free pulls, and then with those 20 pulls you will get 10 pulls refunded from the banner, and that 10 pulls gives you 5 back. That's a lot to say, but essentially that's 35 pulls down and already one piece of gear guaranteed for free, potentially more depending on your luck, and you haven't even spent any of your own crystals yet. So in total you will keep getting half your cards refunded until 40 total focus cards refunded. From my experience, overall on average you should be confident to fully gear her entering the patch with about 8,000 crystals, which isn't that much at all. Worst case is 60 pulls if you have to go to pity for everything, which is over 15,000 crystals. Still not that much. So the overall plan, I think it's very worth getting her gear. Getting her gear now is also as cheap as it's ever going to be. You can be confident with about 8,000 crystals. Gearing her up makes her a great support. Also, I want to add, if you're a newer player who hasn't managed to rank up or gear carole or griseo. As always, it does depend on the bosses Hoyoverse end up putting out in the future, but outside of bleed content, you could kinda just skip them now and just focus on Prometheus. This also benefits you because pulling old SP gear late is always difficult, since once you miss the first SP gear banner, they come out on random banners, so Prometheus is newer and cheaper to invest into, and she will likely last the longest. However, note with all this, you still need to have HOS to pair alongside her, as always, at least for now. On a side note, why am I not covering hare? Personally, I'm not going for her. After the triple Hershes and the story ending, and then recently Susanna being valuable and her gear, and now pulling this valuable Prometheus gear, I think it's unlikely most free to play or low spenders will have any resources or crystals for hare. I hope you found this video helpful. This was my first Honkai Impact 3rd guide on this channel. Thanks for watching.